Hello guys, and welcome to the top 5 of the best generals in this game across all of the different types of generals which there are. And let me tell you, I have had some heartbreak over these decisions. I was thinking hard, I tried to compile my list, I tried to be as objective as possible, but don't forget this, especially the comparing between the different categories was pretty hard for me. So I just try to be as objective as possible, try to compare as much as possible, but take everything I say with a grain of salt. So the way I'm gonna do this is I hosted a poll on the European war boards, and I'll tell you a bit about it. Next of all, I created my own ranking of the best generals, and in the end I'll still do some honorable mentions. So let's get right into it. First of all, you can see in the poll that there is a clear winner according to the poll, and that is Kutuzov. Next after him, Bismarck came second, and after that Murat was third, which has interestingly enough changed a little bit, because Washington, Davout were before in an older, the same poll but longer ago, they were head to head, but then Murat actually clutches it. Number 4 in the long-term general list is Washington. Number 5 was Davout, as I have mentioned those two before. Number 6, interestingly enough, out of the blue, is Nelson, who suddenly also made the jump to the top spots. And rank 7 is Karl, and Bolivar, and some other ones. Lanes also. Now, why did I include the ranks till 7? Because I said it's a top 5 video. Well, as you'll see, I myself have also made my top spots, and certain ranks will change, so it made more sense to include till 7, because in 1 or 2 occasions that one of the top 5 in the popular vote, or my vote, will go out, so top 7 might actually replace them, so I'll do it like that. Now I'll come to the, for me, very, very hard part. My own vote and how I did it. Well, I took quite a while. I constructed again my own ranking system. And in that, it was incredibly close between certain generals. And I just have to say that I did for myself, after calculating for me the rank of every general, I still added a little bit to infantry and cannons, as for those two are just for me better than cavalry and navy, because infantry will be spammed out all the time, and having good infantry general is, I think, more worse than a cavalry, which is more of a luxury general. Cannons are anyway necessary, and navy is barely used in the game. So yeah, that's why I deranked these two a little bit, which might have had an impact in the ranking which I have made. So, number 5 comes the illustrious General Otto von Bismarck. As I have said in the other video, he is just marvelous. He does great damage overall with tunnel, assault and plane fighting, which gives him, what gives him a little minus is that alert and ambush are both defensive skills, and trying to, not get any damage. But he overall will do a very high amount of damage. His highest rank is King, and he is just very, very good general. Just a little problem with him is he's the most expensive general in this game. Coming in at number 4 we have Kutuzov, the Marshal of the Russian Empire. Kutuzov deserves this spot because cannons are just so good in this game, and he is the best of the cannons. He does some great damage with salve on explosives, yes. Also plane fighting and land fortress just does the work. He is a damage machine, and as a cannon he will do great work for you. Little troubling is at him that he has cover and 2 kinds of fighting styles with land fort and plane fighting, which just takes away from him that he is the very, very top. He can reach King, which isn't bad, and overall does some quite decent damage. But his maximum output damage is not as high as the top infantry or cavalry, which is interesting. But I'll just say very, very solid general, actually a must-have for any team. Coming in at number 3, we have the French cavalry general Murat. Now Murat makes this list because he just has tons of good skills. Murat does 8 other cavalry, has plain fighting, can over long distance do some damage. Maneuver is not the best skill, but again precision strike is one of the best skills. He can reach king and has the second highest cavalry damage overall. So he is just the biggest damage cannon. He also aids other cavalry around him, which sounds good, but you won't be using as much cavalry. But I would still say better than the other generals, number 3 spot. Coming in at number 2, we have our beloved damage machine, George Washington. Now, Mr. Washington, he again just does almost everything perfect. He has, of all the units which aren't in-app purchases, he has the highest maximum damage. He has some very good skills as assault, formation master, and plain fighting. Again, like Bismarck, he has these 2 bit defensive skills which I'm not too fond of, but overall his damage just does work. He has the highest rank of title. His highest title is Emperor, and if you can equip him with an ambulance, as I did, he will just survive forever and just kill everything around him. Very good general, must have in any team. At the number 1 spot, I am being a little bit contradictory to myself, as I, in one of my previous videos, have stated that Washington is the number 1 and the best general in the game. Washington. Now, why is he before Karl for me? But I have to change my mind. In my opinion, Karl is the best general in the game, which isn't an in-app purchase. Now, why did I change my mind? Well, I did realize that his skills are just brutally strong. He has only one skill which isn't as good, which is ambush, but formation master and intercept, as well as infantry master, which is probably the best skill in the game, and jungle fighting are all very good skills. What just does it for him is he has infantry master, and that just, as I have played him a bit, it just increases everybody around him, and if you manage to level it up to level 5 and then still give it a medal, it is actually 20 increased attacks in 3 grids, which is insane. He just does damage and he can aid everything around him. He has the maximum highest rank of Emperor, which is the best, and he has, after Washington, the second highest amount of maximum damage percentage increase of any general. He is just a brutally strong general and a must have in any team. Now let's have a look at the combined votes. As you can see in this list which I made here, that if you combine these 2 stats, that in the end, interestingly enough, number 1 still would be Kutuzov. As number 2, Murat and Washington would rank the same high. After that, Bismarck and Karl, which was boosted from the number 7 spot for me. I mean, in the popular vote he was number 7, and that means he's number 1, so he was boosted to number 4 in the end. Davout came 5th, and Nelson came 6th. Or 7th if you count Murat and Washington the same, but I now just made 1, 2, 2, 3 and so on. And now I still come to some honorable mentions. A little problem is with this list and how I ranked it was that Navy generals have almost no chance to get into this list.
Captain!
Yeah?
But I have to say, if you get still Nelson, is absolutely a good buy. The problem is just he's very expensive, but if you want to have a good Navy general, he is a beast. He has overall super skills. He can attack 2 times if you can help. He can defend himself a little bit. He can escort ships around him, and he does damage to enemy ships. He is Emperor's highest title, and actually can do the 3rd highest amount of combined damage. So if you have him, nothing is getting past him in the ocean. Another honorable mention is Lannes at 50% off. He is just a brilliant general. And as I've said before, infantry is especially valuable, so I'd probably pick him over Bismarck, because I already have Washington and Carleton, don't need still that third super general. I would still prefer a Lannes, who is his plane fighting, tunnel, intercept and assault, just does damage very well. Has actually quite high rank for a purple general. And his maximum damage isn't as brilliant, but if you put him next to Karl or Washington, he'll tell those three. The trio, Washington, Karl and Lannes, will probably run through anything. And another honorable mention would be still the cavalry generals, Davout and Dabrowski. Because these two generals are actually very good, and if you want to go for not the most expensive cavalry general, but still want a good one, Davout or Dabrowski are gonna do it for you. They're just very, very strong. This did cost me quite a bit of time, and I have noticed that you guys, a lot of you guys, aren't subscribed to my channel, but are still watching. So maybe for those new guys here around, if you've watched for a while or are totally new to the channel, I would really appreciate a sub, and don't forget to turn on those notifications. Thank you guys, and